Hello, beloved humans. This is the 10th video of this experiment on YouTube. And today I'm going to talk about Māa'ru, the matriarch collective that we are birthing. Like really as the implemented alive structure for what, for the things that I am talking about and that I'm living and that I'm anchoring. And yeah, we actually started yesterday another 1001 day spiral, the third one now. The first one I started alone, the second one we were 3, and now the fourth one we start in the first season, which is 5 moons with 7 women. And it really is, we are birthing this rhythmic field for so many more women and men to also join on the long term. And so it's very exciting to be in this moment, because one cycle goes 1001 days, which is almost 3 years. So I am almost now traveling with that for 6 years. Actually, it's 5.5 years, but for a long time. And I reflected now because I was bringing the second spiral to its conclusion and opening now the third spiral, and just reflecting on what has moved, what has happened for me in the first and in the second spiral. And it is very deep, and it's very, just very fundamental. Like I really truly can see how these last years have been the most important years in my life, and I'm very curious and very humble and very deeply in service to see what wants to come through in this third spiral. And I'm going to share a bit, why, for who, how, what's happening here in Māa'ru. I deeply feel that in the collapsing of our existing systems, and it's gonna become much more in the next decades, we're gonna all face massive transformation. Like all of our lives are gonna change immensely, and I think many of us, we don't even know, including myself, we don't even know how deeply and how massively. Including a lot of really existential questions, about really truly sovereignty as humans, and safety, and financial, and ecological, and political, and social, and psychosomatic, integrity, and health, and just really this, I feel like really deeply the sacred of life is really at stake, big time, and on a big scale for many of us humans, and for many other life forms as well. It's already, and it's gonna just go so much more. So in these times where so much is dying, and so much crisis and chaos, and I feel like what we really need is to create spaces where we can fully feel, and fully be, and fully inquire what life wants to birth through us. So, and Māa'ru is a structure where we can do that on a global but also local scale, in deep connection and coherence with ourselves and with each other, and where we really in a way all the informations that we have gathered and can gather deeper to how can we implement it, how can we actually create realities and structures that are birthing in this mass death the cultures that are needed and wanting to be birthed. In many ways you can say it's a an integral, holistic human composting process. Because what is compost other than a mass death and a mass birth of microbes to create, with the waste, a fertile ground for what wants to come to grow next. And so this is Māa'ru. We really want to take the collective experience, the individual and the collective experience, to see okay, how can we take it all and alchemize it and become actually really real, also to embrace the intensity and the messiness and the beauty and the heartbreak and the magic, and see okay, how can we actually in our own unique colors, but also as mycelium of what wants to happen, how can we co-create with life these emerging systems. And I prefer really mycelia because it's much more organic. So yeah, this is the call of itself. In many ways, I really feel it's a being. Māa'ru is a being. It's a living being that has its own logic and its own wisdom, but deeply coming from our times that we are living in. And it's very revealing, it's very emergent, no one knows exactly what's going to happen and how it's going to unfold, but there is a feeling of okay, here I belong in this collective birthing process, and participating, a conscious participation, and then it can show how it unfolds. I can already say from experience that it goes much slower than what I thought. I thought that we could start, yesterday with the global field, and I realized no, it needs, I want to be really growing like a small being, and to really that it can be contained in its own essence, and then that it can grow in its organic aliveness. So for now we are 7 women, and then we will see in the next season if where we are standing. The 3 principles, the 3 foundations, what the whole spiral is standing on through these 1001 days, are power, love, and creativity. So to truly repattern our own relationship, but also the outer reality of how do we understand power, how do we live power, how do we share power, how do we celebrate power. This as really as a key factor of coming back into right relationship with life, and the power that life is in its diversity and beauty and reality. The second is really love. And there I always also say love is also eros, that we understand eros as a deeply, deeply wise gnosis of life. And that we can understand our attractions and our aliveness through our energetical body as a compass in life. And in a much more diverse perception also, and really as in a way, as the pulse of our love. What we are here to really live as love. And that we bring that again together, really, how do we live love in all its diversity of self-love and friendships and community and partnerships, and to spirit and to the moment. Really also I love the 7 Greek words of agape, eros, storge, philautia, philia, ludus, and what is the 7th that I didn't mention? I don't know, you can look it up. To really have a more differentiated lens of how does love, really as the ground of all our existence, pulse through and create, through our beings as the biggest motivation for everything ultimately. And then the third is really creativity, like as a how can we awaken as highly co-creative beings on this planet, like as our essence of being human. Like we cannot not create. We always create with our thoughts, with our feelings, with our dreams, with our fears, with our body, with our actions, with everything. We are highly co-creative beings. And to use, like this deep reality very consciously in a group body, and to see like how can I, in my personal reality, in my personal life, and my life networks and realities, how can I really use my creative inspiration and instinct and intuition to be present. And then also, how can we together birth, co-create the structures, the realities that are needed in the times that we're living in, and really as an ongoing pulse, but also as a rhythmic, really in this feminine mystic gnosis of rhythms, of cycles. Because all is deeply dedicated to bring back, the matriarchy is not that women are in power over, but actually that the life principle that is the deepest incarnated in women, really as a physiological reality, that we are given back the place that we carry in life and in societies, and so that we can serve all of life, and everyone else can also in the most deep way serve life, like as a sacred experience. So it's truly to give the feminine mysteries back its place in the vastness of our stories, so that we can together find peace and harmony with all life forms, because that is possible on this planet Earth. And it's so important that in the times that we're living in, that we plant seeds, like literally. So it's a lot about really grassroots movements that we are in connection with, and not just in a small window, but really in consistency. Like that is the power of this Māa'ru field, that we have this 1001 days. And for me, I gave the promise to do this till I die. And I hope that there are many who live that together with me, that we go in that pulse. And it's not like it's not a course. It's not like, oh, okay, now I need to do this, and then it's more like a pulse underneath, where we meet sometimes, like we go with the moon. We have like this moon cycle, moon wheel, where we meet on the new moon with a new topic, with a new focus, and then we put a prayer, we put a practice, and then we have different rhythms for 10 days together, and then 4 days of deeply implementing or inquiring how do I live that within myself. Then we have a full moon abundance call or gathering ceremony, and then there's 2 weeks of silence. So it's like more like a pulse underneath, and everyone decides for themselves like how they want to be present in the calls and in the practices. There's a lot of self-initiation and self-responsibility, and really truly like what does that mean for you in your life, in your value system, in your reality. Like how do you live that? And in that sense, it's a matriarch collective, where we deeply pray and practice together to really birth. But we can do it in connection, we can do it in reflection, we can do it in togetherness, where we support each other, where we truly are willing to see each other in the fullness, with our shadows, our wounds, our brokenness, with our stories, and where we're here to support each other, to witness each other, to hold each other accountable of what we are here to live. And so we spiral in like seasons, which is 5 moons, and the first moon is dedicated to power, the second to love, the third to creativity, the fourth is a triangulation, which is the matriarch, because I really feel like when a matriarch means that there is a depth and truth to these fields that is integrated and coherent. And so that the fourth is the matriarch, and the fifth is then a pause of integration. So there's a lot of, you can hear it, and you can understand it's a lot of active moments, and then it goes like in passive. And then so we have these spirals of 7 seasons where we go through this again and again. We go down and we go up in a way at the same time. And the idea with these 7 seasons is again, like, that we are not linear beings. We are deeply spiraling through this cosmos and life, like everything inside of us, the muscles and the DNA and the bones and the movements is all based on spirals. So it's really this this deep principle of life that we are spiraling into, or also this linear. I often also speak about the ancient future, where that is in itself, and that actually creates aliveness, that creates, like, in a way also we integrate the paradox, because life is always paradoxical, and we integrate the paradox so that life can happen, that life is pulsing, that life is here fully. And so we have these 7 seasons that are in a way, again, also revealing, but there is a healing principle, like it's like really seeding and letting it grow and letting it unfold, and also there it's more like a feminine and more masculine season, where we are like more in the active and then more in the receptive. So we really go with these pulses of life, and that's like underneath in a group body structure, but of course we always have our individual truth that can be also then be felt more deeply, like, oh, where am I right now? And I felt actually last night, because I went yesterday to a very powerful place here in Brazil, in Fortaleza, where I am right now, to an old tree that was planted, like really as a place of remembering in the slave history. And it deeply touched me, and I couldn't even grasp so much words. Like, it only came through the night, some deep transmissions came through of really this grassroots reality, like really from the foot up. It's not where we just go with consciousness and then bring it down. That has its place, but it's much more to really feel and listen to our feet, and what are the steps that we have made, and what kind of soils do we walk, what are the stories of the earth that we walking on, that we're dancing on. And this has, for me, it's like almost I saw, like, on the soil of my feet to awaken, to really read much more deeper the reality of earth, and to like really in many ways it's also to receive the energy that has been lived through also the ancestors of us, that has been, they have been failing so much, they have been making so much mistake, like so much violence and so much suffering of the last millennia. But I could feel the tears and the sweat and the blood and the semen and the, like all the fluids of life that are somehow stored in the soil, and in a way they want to be composted, they want to be alchemized. And we cannot just put a new story on top, but it's like really to take these realities and really composting it. And from there we can, because there are also so many seeds, of that suffering. And I could feel it really when I was yesterday at that tree, and it activated something which I feel is very, very deeply, at the core of Māa'ru. The name Māa'ru is really the mother, the rooted mother. The rooted mother. So how does land speak through us? How does land want to be awakened to us, like really through the body, through our base, through our, letting the base awaken to our heart and our consciousness. Yeah. I want to also honor, because I'm wearing still my Brazilian indigenous earrings, and also today this beautiful indigenous piece of art that are seeds. And like for me, this is also a promise, because I am now living on these lands here in Brazil together with my Brazilian husband and my daughter, to really serve also the indigenous traditions that are here. I know I have to go so much deeper, also as a white privileged woman, colonized woman. I need to go so much deeper into the mysteries of these lands here and the stories of these lands, and to do my work to bring, in a way, my own being into connection with the realities here. And so this is for me a prayer and a promise to go deep into it and be consistently in the revealing of what my role is, how I can serve, and in a way also how I can take, the ones who watch this, who come with me, to take on a journey also, to do that together with me in our own unique possibility and expression and desire and inspiration. But I really feel that I have their responsibility, like, and I love that word, like ability to respond, and like really a karma dharma that I'm here to live. And it has a lot to do with reparation, but not in the sense of shame, game, play, but in acknowledging truly our stories on a collective body, and integrate the different stories and come really to this human heart, to this human body, to this human family that integrates all races and colors and realities. And I know there's still a lot of work that I need to do, that I can truly say that my life is that, because we all carry so much fragmentation, and like as white women we have so much privilege, and it's really important that we do the work. And Māa'ru is in many ways also there to do that. And for now it's mainly white women, but I also see there in the future that there is a moment in time where it's somehow some sort of a meeting point is gonna happen. And I just want to document it here, because I know how profound prayers and seeds are. And so this is my public also documentation, and love declaration, and also promise. And I want to share here also that I had a moment, the other days, where I was like, I just gonna delete everything on YouTube again, because I felt like I felt just I don't even know what the right word is, my limitness in the depth of what I try to speak about, and to put it into words and to put it into reality and to try to live it, and the complexity and the so much of like where I feel like, oh my god, like it's, I just scratched the surface, and I listen to myself and I'm just like, oh my god, I could have said it differently, this is not politically correct, or this is not differentiated enough, this is not, I'm not integrating enough, and so all these voices of I'm not good enough, I need to serve better, and then I just really could also like see like how this is the logic of Vetico, and really come actually deeper and say like, I'm like I'm a messed up human being, and very fragmented and very disturbed in many ways, and this is my walk of prayer. And yes, I am, there's so many things that I still have to learn, and I'm very limited, and in all of that it's okay also to just start. So Māa'ru is also in many ways like really this, it's okay, we can start where we are, we can start who we are with who we are, and we can bring our joy, we can bring our incompleteness, we can bring all of us. It's a place of permission, and nevertheless we start and see what are the concrete actions also that we can do in the world that we are in this crumbling, birthing world. And so today I could really feel also the joy and in a way also the gratitude towards myself, that I'm putting myself in this very limited form, and YouTube has its logic and I'm not using it the right way, and I could study more, but I feel like really I don't want to be dictated by the logic of our times. My commitment and the commitment of Māa'ru is really that we remember the deeper logics that are gonna be present long after these times, and really holding this prayer of, if I live something from deep within with authenticity and with joy and humbleness, that reality is gonna travel much further in the logics of the earth and in the logics of the cosmos. And so this is also a place where we, remember that, root back to that depth. Because what we humans alchemize through our body in all its different moments, it matters. It matters very, very deeply. The moments where we listen, the moments where we truly share, the moments where we forgive, the moments where we love, the moments where we stumble, the moments where we doubt, like all this, when it, the realness of being human, it's so deeply sacred. And so Māa'ru is really here to serve the sacredness of life, but the sacredness of being human. And we work with this principle of 1 and 0, not in the digital realms, but really like as the cosmic principles of polarity, as unity. And so like really as one moment, 1 day, 10 days, 100 days, 1,000 days. So it's a fractal intelligence in a homeopathic way that we, bring this deeper alignment of like, yes, this is where my whole being in all its landscapes, inner and outer, can pulse more authentically. less manipulated, more relaxed, less brainwashed, more honest, more raw, less superficial. Find your own expressions, because again, this is not, like, all of this is again also individual, and it's also collective. Like, what are the values that you really want to live? So Māa'ru is a deep value vessel where we can bring our values, and in the group body we work on them, and we alchemize them, we compost them to bring them even more rooted and more integrated into the world. Because I truly feel this is the role of the feminine principle, that we become pillars of values for all our interactions, for all our connections, for all our relationships, for all our fields that we touch. That whoever is coming into connection with us actually can reflect on the way how they live, and if it's aligned with the values that they really are here to. That we really remember that we are alive compasses, alive temples in a very real human form, to bring coherence and bring peace and bring harmony to all the spaces that we are part of. That this is our design as women, and the feminine principle, to really bring togetherness to all life forms. So, if you feel any resonance, that this is your tribe, that this is your family, then reach out, ask questions, give comments, come to the lands here to Brazil, where we are birthing the ancient futuristic village. Become part of Māa'ru in its rhythm, and become part of Singularity, which is the radical, different political movement that I'm also part in its birthing process. I feel in many ways, it's like really, I feel like, we as a global family, we are in these deep birthing processes, in these big portals of shifting realities. And let us come together in this. Let us come together in learning how we can do that, so that we truly serve life. Okay, this is my prayer. This is my prayer, my practice, and this is what we do in Māa'ru. Let's come together deeper. Okay, sending so much love. Bless your day, bless your moment. Big embrace and a kiss.